trickery. You told me it was right. I was such a good boy. I let you hold the door. So kind, so nice was my pride.
Okay, everything is said. I got the movie. I hope I'm not. Is everything okay?
Not really. I failed everyone.
What makes you think that?
I mean, this season I want to do something big, grand, and extravagant. I mean, this is it! Season 10! The big 1-0! Just like a comet passing the Earth that's never going to come back again, and I want to do something so big and unique. On top of that, 15 years of this show! So, what do I think will work? Reviewing a bunch of movies that I adored so much when I was a young kid. Trouble is, when you get older, you don't realize how different things are than what they look like when you're just so small. Nobody likes that. So what do? Cave into the masses and just do one request after another. And then there's one that just breaks me to the point where I question my will to carry and continue on, whether doing this show is really worth it anymore, if it's any fun. It got so bad that my own friend and co-pilot over by the mic just left fearing the worst. So now here I am. This season has been a complete disaster.
I wouldn't say it was all bad. There was a good episode here and there. Besides, season 10 is not done with. There's still a chance to turn this around.
Well, I suppose you're right. I mean, there were a couple of golden nuggets here and there. I guess I could hold on to a few more episodes and see where it goes. If that's the case, would it be okay if we bumped our co-review to January? It would at least give me some extra prep time, just in case.
I see no harm there, but if I was to suggest something, why not cover something else from your childhood that everyone can connect with? Something simple, like a favorite superhero.
I already covered The Rocketeer. There's no way I can top that.
What about second favorite?
That would go to Batman, but I've already covered the Burton films, the Schumacher flicks, and some of the more recent stuff is a little too early for me to cover in this day and age. And the only other thing I can think of is possibly the animated series, but there's just such a back catalog of things to go through. I mean, what can I cover from this thing? There's just...
Yeah, I think you know where to go from here.
At the start of the early 1990s, Warner Brothers wanted to jump back into the animation industry. And so they turned to one of their own, Gene McCurdy, who did start off with them, but then briefly left in the early 80s to help out Hanna-Barbera with shows like Super Friends and The Smurfs. She was rehired immediately as the president of the animation division, and her biggest goal was to make original content for television. Following the success of Tiny Toon Adventures, she wanted to pass up a couple of properties the studio owned to see what could be feasible for the next big thing. Among the batch were Gremlins, The Griswolds, National Lampoon's Vacation, and Tasmania. Okay, even though if that last one did get the green light, there was one other that she pitched to the executives that got immediate attention. Its name was Batman. With the help of production staffer Bruce Timm and background artist Eric Radomski, they They were able to conceive an animated series unlike any other at the time, from well-written scripts to stellar animation, along with a full orchestra soundtrack. This show broke new ground in making villain characters we can sympathize with, and stories that accompany every bit of Batman, from the Tim Burton films to the Adam West series. It was a major hit, earned some Emmys, and often viewed as one of the greatest animated television shows ever made. At the height of the series' popularity, it was decided the next place to go for this show was the movies. Albeit the small screen. Mask of the Phantasm was set to be released as a direct-to-video venture, given Tiny Toons had similar success with How I Spent My Vacation. Many ideas were pitched, including one where Batman is placed on trial by the villains in Arkham, yet given how The Dark Knight was to be immobile for a majority of the story, it was refurbished into the trial episode. Writer Alan Burnett suggested the idea of doing a love story for Bruce, given it was a concept that wasn't explored at the time. Everyone liked the idea, and it was given the green light just as production on Season 1 ended, just so the original crew wouldn't depart. After 4 months of pre-production work and sharing storyboards with Dong Yang Animations, yep, same group that would help out on Disney's Gargoyles and the Real Ghostbusters, executives liked the progress so much they decided to make Mask of the Phantasm a theatrical release on February 1992. This left the filmmakers with only less than a year of production, given a traditional animated movie would take 2 years to work on. On top of that, they had to make sure the widescreen framing would be more suitable, given this change from home video to a theatrical venue was so late in the game. On the upside, Warner Bros. Gave them some creative control, along with a manageable $6 million budget. With the TV series being hit with children and adults, there was no way they could lose. We'll save the box office results for later, but I gotta get 2 things off my chest right now. First off, if you have not seen Mask of the Phantasm, it's an immediate requirement. There's going to be spoilers in this episode, and I'm not going to hold back, and I want to make sure this is one that you're highly familiar with. I know it's been around since 1993, but believe me when I say, this is a movie worth seeing. I mean, if it was a bad movie, that'd be a whole other scenario, but I like to view my reviews as afterthoughts, or things to see after the movie. Kind of like a bonus feature, per se, if you want to know a little more about the feature, or my thoughts in general. So, if you've not seen it, do it now. Because I'm not holding back on the big stuff. Second, if you own the Blu-ray, there's something interesting to note. Because it carries 2 particular versions of Mask of the Phantasm, with the only difference being in the visual department. One version is in widescreen, while the other is in an open matte 4:3 aspect ratio. Again, the decision to make this a theatrical feature was late in the game, but the filmmakers were nice enough to provide a version that was suitable for the big screen and home video. Even though this movie was originally projected in 185, the filmmakers' original intent was the 4:3 version, aka the square cut, with the entire frame being fully animated. For this reason, I'm going to use that edit for this video as opposed to the widescreen option, given the top and bottom is cropped. Besides, most reviews of this movie go with the widescreen copy, so why not do something different? Speaking of which, in order to get Batman the Animated Series past the network censors, there was a small handful of things that they couldn't do in the series. Some of those taboos included extreme violence like face punching, handguns, drugs, booze, nudity, and, most curious of all, Batman smashing through glass windows. And in 2 minutes and 20 seconds of this movie, all, if not, some of those taboos are shattered. Let's see, we have Batman breaking through glass, alcohol, face punching, handguns, absolutely. And while we don't have nudity, there is a painting of a lady with a little extra cleavage present. Check-a-rooney. For those of you playing MPAA bingo at home, congratulations! Your Batman movie officially has a PG rating. At least when PG actually meant something. In terms of continuity with the show, the filmmakers made the wise idea to ambiguously hint this is a prequel to the animated series. There's no Harvey Dent, we get a look into Batman's origin post-death of Bruce's parents, and it appears Gotham City is still unclear if Batman is a hero or not. It's helpful for those unfamiliar with the animated show as a means to give a taste of what they're missing out on. It's good enough to the point newcomers can view Mask of the Phantasm as its own entity, or connected to the TV show in some way. Even the story itself carries enough dramatic weight that mirrors the tone and writing style of the animated show. While Batman remains vigilant, another mysterious figure looms over Gotham called the Phantasm, who's picking off mobsters one step at a time. Because of the near similar cape and cowl design, it leads police and folks to believe Batman is doing the murders. In between that, Bruce notices an old fling returns to Gotham that reminds him of the time before he became the Caped Crusader, which, questions come to surface onto whether life as a crime fighter was really worth choosing. There's a lot to analyze here, so let's start with the obvious. Batman. Kevin Conroy's performance here as the millionaire alter ego Bruce and Nocturnal Bat provides such a dynamic range. While there were episodes on the show that explored Bruce's guilt, it was never this deep. We see in flashbacks Bruce could have lived a happy life, but certain choices along the way lead him to where he is. There are moments when he debates the pros and cons of a dual life, knowing the difficulties that lie ahead. He could spend time trying to rectify a life, avenging the death of his parents, or live a life without that guilt. Good lord, there's a moment when Bruce cries and pleads for his parents' tombstone, thinking this newfound feeling is some form of crime.
Please. I need it to be different now. I know I made a promise, but I didn't see this coming. I didn't count on being happy.
To counter that is Andrea Beaumont, voiced by Dana Delany, the girl that got away. Like how in the flashbacks we see the relationship that could have been, and in present day, that stirring question if she still holds some feelings for Bruce.
Can we make it work this time?
I want to say yes, but you know it's going to come down between me and your father.
Daddy doesn't matter anymore.
There's a reason why she's returned to Gotham, but we'll get to that later. Without going into spoilers, there is a lot that mirrors Bruce's situation given her father does some pretty shady business that affects her later on. We see that she holds some similar passions in hoping for a bright and happy future, but weighted down by the dark realities of what holds that back from happening. According to storyboard artist Bradley Ratter, he was unimpressed with the original designs and decided to model her a little more like Lauren Bacall to present her as delicate yet tough. It works so well because you can tell she may look soft, but there's something deep in her that's challenging to separate. I do like how later when she starts to patch things up with Bruce, we start to wonder exactly who is healing the guy's wounds. While his brother Alfred is seen as sort of a second father, by the by, great performance by Ephraim Zabalis Jr. here, it's Andre's presence that makes Bruce wonder how things could have gone different, and she starts making reconsider if life as Batman was a good choice or not. Again, without giving things away just too early, it's cemented well at the end when Alfred says a few words that lets Bruce know whether he chose the right path or not. And then we have the Phantasm itself, a new villain design for this feature that proves to be quite a challenge. I love how the design is reminiscent of the Ghost of Christmas Future and plays on a lot of illusions to keep the fear factor in play. A being that can reappear and disappear within a puff of smoke. This is probably the only movie I can think of that introduced me at a young age to slasher movies given the tone and execution. While the deaths are not too gruesome, they are still dark as hell. When someone dies under the blade of the Phantasm, you feel that kill. My favorite one is when Buzz gets axed off at the cemetery. It is a death that makes you legit feel the weight of it. Ooh, crunchitized.
Oh, man.
Good lord, you can see his brains. And of course, given this is a Batman movie, it is not complete without the addition of one of the more essentials from the collection of villains he has within the Rogue Gallery.
Oh, Salvatore! Why so formal? Me Casa Nostra es su Casa Nostra.
Mark Hamill as the Joker. Need I say anything else? It's interesting as the creative team was unsure to add Joker into the plot as they didn't want to be compared to Burton's Batman. However, they found a way to maintain the character's menace as a solo threat and tie it in nicely to the murder mystery plot. The solution was easy. Just play up the anarchic nature of the Joker and don't have his accomplice/girlfriend Harley Quinn appear.
My fault. I didn't get the joke.
Oh, it's okay, Arlene. You're still our Harley. Sequence director Kevin Altieri was the only one who worked on the Joker scenes. In fact, dare I say, he stole any scene with the Joker and worked on it, and you can see why. The Joker here is both hilarious and frightening. It's a character that makes you laugh, but still gives you uncomfortable vibes. He has the zany energy of Bugs Bunny, but the demented mind of a psychopath. There is one moment that clearly cements his character in a nutshell when a mobster named Salvatore visits him to try and hire him to assassinate Batman. Watch this.
Think, you fool. Your hands are just as dirty. Dirtier. Don't touch me, old man.
Wow. The moment someone rubs him the wrong way in the simplest of ways, it gets personal for him. It's a small touch visually, but it works. Look at how the background turns red when Salvatore touches him. It's subtle, yet you can just see the Joker's urge of murder just rise from one small pet peeve that bothers him. This too is true to Joker's character, given one episode had him hire a random person to help his scheme, and all just over road rage. You rub the Joker the wrong way, and you're immediately dead to him.
You promised to send me home. I never said alive.
Speaking of which, I really dig how he hides out in the rundown World of Tomorrow expose, and quite possibly has a fling with one of the robots.
What do you say, hon? Feeling the old electricity tonight?
We may not have Harley Quinn, but I believe he is so insane enough to rail that robot. Is that right, G? Oh, yeah. Now, if there was one small weak element, it would be the Councilman Arthur Reeves. It has nothing to do with Hart Bochner's performance. He does a great job playing up the slimeball attitude while trying to put Batman in the negative.
So how goes the bat bashing?
Better than your love life. At least since that one girl. What was her name? Andrea?
Thanks for the handkerchief, Arthur. You know where you can stick it.
Yet, I just didn't think his character was interesting or sympathetic enough to grab my attention. He feels here more like a red herring, and I understand now why, given they couldn't use, say, Harvey Dent in the grand scheme of things, as it wouldn't work given how the mystery plays out. Also, small nitpick, part of me feels like his presence kinda takes away from having Detective Bullock or Commissioner Gordon get any form of screen time, and yeah, they do get a moment here or there. In fact, hell, some of the funniest Bullock moments actually come from this movie. However, I just feel Reeves was there to be a false suspect. His comeuppance, I do like, but the character, I guess the last thing to bring up before going into spoilers is the action scenes. They are amazing! Not a single breath or beat is wasted. The level of intensity is so good that when someone gets punched, you feel it. Granted, a lot of Batman movies carry plenty of action scenes that are well staged and engaging. Case in point, Christopher Nolan, who knows how to keep you on the edge of your seat.
He missed!
Tim Burton's take is certainly flashy and entertaining. That does keep us in the moment. And as of recent is Matt Reeves, whose Batman action scenes carry a lot of grit and suspense. Yet Mask of the Phantasm manages to balance all of that and still keep you engrossed. The best one I can think of as a good example is when Batman is chasing the Phantom down, but is caught up in a trap by the Gotham SWAT team. Again, they still think he's responsible for the murders at this point. The chase raises so many stakes, even right down to Bruce using the cape and cowl as a distraction, but he still gets chased after. The fact he is exposed and close to being seen by the public really holds your attention. A lot of these scenes really keep the suspense in play while still being enjoyable. There's a really good one near the end, where Batman and the Joker fight within a miniature set of Gotham, almost mimicking that of giant kaiju movies. The image alone of giant vigilante and monster anarchic is so fun, and you can tell the filmmakers had a blast, staging as well as animating this scene. It's also a wonder to know that the violence was only slightly scaled back just so it's family friendly, but still maintains the level of intensity. There was originally a shot after the miniature Gotham fight where Batman drips blood and the studio asked him to take them out. An entire fight scene where the Joker loses a tooth, and yet it's a small drop of blood that shocks them? The fact they were okay with such a powerful fight scene, and yet only something so small bugged them, still amazes me to see how much they approved of this. Now, before we get into spoilers, let's take a tiny little nostalgia break just to give you enough time to hopefully see the flick. Because when we come back, I ain't holding anything secret. Anything's game. The gloves are off, and I'm telling all. But first, here's some tasty nostalgic bites from the 1990s.
Batman, Joker's turned up at the Gotham McDonald's.
On my way. Robin, meet me at the Gotham City McDonald's.
Right, Catwoman's been sighted there.
They're ours now. Just imagine Batman's surprise when he finds out everyone's talking about the Batman Happy Meal toys at McDonald's. One of 8 exciting action toys or vehicles with each Batman Happy Meal you buy your kids. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Why have they been in there so long?
They're probably just toying with us, Robin.
It's showtime!
Hi, I'm Toby Terrier, star of my own video.
Let's watch your show, Toby, I love you so, 'cause I'm a part of your show.
Sing along!
T-I-N-G-O.
Toby comes to life when he watches his own video.
Let's play together.
Solve the puzzle.
Toby, I love you so, 'cause I'm a part of your show.
Toby Terrier comes with his own video. Other videos sold separately. Batteries not included.
Cool things happen in the morning with the warm taste of Kellogg's Pop-Tarts.
So cool, they're hot. So hot, they're cool. The taste of real food. So hot,
Yeah, Kellogg's Pop-Tarts. You're kidding. A complete breakfast?
Uh-oh.
so cool, they're hot, hot, hot.
It's the Jurassic Park Command Compound. With an electronic computer that says over 100 commands.
Best film.
We need more firepower.
The computer
Send help.
helps you control Jurassic Park.
Got him.
T-Rex attacking.
Look out, Pat! Fire the net. Got him.
Compound secure.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Electronic Talking Command Compound. Figures and dinosaurs sold separately. Batteries not included.
And we are back. Okay, this is your final spoiler warning. If you have not seen this movie, do so now. This twist is so crucial to the entire movie that I can't pass by it. It has to be discussed because it is so important given the themes this movie plays. If you have not seen Mask of the Phantasm, do so pronto. You can turn the video off, watch the movie, come back here, what have you. But the most important thing is, I don't want to ruin this for you. It's too big. As for everybody else, ready? Okay. As hinted earlier, there are certain threads between Bruce and Andrea that have some similarities to the two characters. Both of them experienced certain pastime traumas that turned them into the people they are today. For Bruce, he decided to take his and become Batman to do good for Gotham. Andrea, on the other hand...
So you figured it out.
...decided to, take more personal means. Also, she's the Phantasm. As it turns out, Andrea's father was trapped in a money-embezzling ploy resulting in his death by the mob. In retaliation, Andrea returned with a plan to axe off one member of the gang that did her father wrong. This is pretty damn intense for a Batman story. We know Bruce was able to move forward and try to do good in overcoming his guilt. Andrea, on the other hand, has the polar opposite to sort out the vengeance for personal reasons. While this caused a split in their relationship, the way they react to this is interesting. Bruce decided to focus on his will to help Gotham, while Andrea went down a much darker path. There are two scenes that really hammer this home when Batman confronts her just before his battle with the Joker, and they debate about what good vengeance holds.
Look what they did to us! what we could have had. They had to pay.
What will vengeance solve?
If anyone knows the answer to that, Bruce, it's you.
And it is right here I can see what they were trying to do with Batman Returns. In that movie, Selina Kyle is mistreated to the point she mentally snaps and seeks social vengeance as Catwoman. A particular scene near the end somewhat mirrors Batman and Andrea's debate, but it never quite worked for me. I understand what they were trying to do with Batman telling Selina what negative effect vengeance has, but Selina is clearly damaged at the point there is no return.
I just couldn't live with myself, so don't pretend this is a happy ending.
So Batman's plea just comes off as kind of weird to me. In Mask of the Phantasm, they show a history and personal connection to Bruce and Andrea, making it more possible that they still have a chance to have a future they didn't have. Yet, with Andrea sticking to her goal of vengeance, it makes this all the more tragic given Bruce's relationship in the past and knowing what could have been if things went different. This is driven further near the end when Alfred comforts Bruce to let him know Andrea's choice of vengeance wasn't his fault. It's a short moment, but man, his words are very deep here.
Vengeance blackens the soul, Bruce. I always feared you would become that which you fought against. But Andrea fell into that pit years ago. And no one, not even you, could have pulled her back.
By making this a love story, it sticks close to the message about life choices and what difficult decisions we have to make. Do we give up personal ambitions for happiness? Or sacrifice all that to satisfy our personal needs? It's a movie that does more than just present Batman. It asks the question, who is Batman? And what he could have been if things were different. Mask of the Phantasm is truly one not to be missed. It has the look of a Batman movie, the writing of a Batman movie, but most of all, it embodies what it should be. There is a mystery for him to solve, there's interesting characters to go up against, and a drama that is explored far deeper than any of the movies that I have seen. I can't recall any Batman movie that explored the will of a hero this deep. You could argue Christopher Nolan and Matt Reeves did that with their versions. Mask of the Phantasm is able to deliver that under such a short running time without wasting a breath. It doesn't talk down to its audience with deep themes and delivers one breathtaking action scene after another. If you haven't seen it, by all means, this is certainly an immediate recommendation. But enough talk. How did this movie fare at the box office? There's no way Warner Brothers would drop the ball on a property like Batman. No way, no how. Unless they decide to give it little to no promotion, play it in daytime matinee hours, thus limiting the showtime appeal, and worst of all, pushing all of the marketing towards other movies they had released at the time. And yes, I look forward to covering them in the 1993 holiday movie review just to see if it was all worth it to sacrifice this one little film for those. Regardless, many felt the last-minute switch from a home video release to a theatrical presentation was really the cause, given there was little time to create an effective publicity campaign. Okay, at least it got some rave critical reviews to those who saw it when it came out, but the movie was made for $6 million. They got to at least made some of that money back. To add more salt to the wound, according to one of the sequence directors of this movie, when Warner Bros. Was asked why they did so little promotional material to this movie, their response was, "We just saw the theatrical release is really an advertisement for the direct-to-video release." On a lighter note, Mask of the Phantasm did get a bigger cult following on home video, and with each new DVD and Blu-ray release, that audience has been growing bigger. Some actually rediscovering it and thinking it's a lost masterpiece and quite possibly the best Batman movie of the bunch because it encompasses everything about Batman, in my opinion. The mystery, who he is, the darkness, the lightness, just everything. And hopefully, when the next generations, they'll discover it too as much as we have. But most interestingly enough, the more I've gotten older and rewatched this movie, it's made me reconsider who my favorite Batman is. And for the longest time, it was Michael Keaton because, objectively, that was the one many folks turned to. But the more I think about it, I'm starting to think Kevin Conroy is becoming more my Batman. Keaton is unpredictable, Ben Affleck is brutal, and Robert Pattinson is unique. Yet Conroy really walked that tightrope, showing the heroic nature of Batman and the personal struggles of Bruce Wayne. Even as a voice, he's able to provide what it means to carry the hardships and responsibilities that come with being a knight towards a city full of crime. His Batman never viewed the villains as villains, but as people that were dealt with a bad hand and possibly could have had a second chance. Kevin Conroy was more than a legend. He was, and always will be, my Batman. What else can I say? Thanks, Conroy. You are the Bat. Folks, I admit, I really dropped the ball on this season. Sure, once in a while there was a good one, but overall it was kind of a roller coaster of an experience. But there are some cases where, when you're in this kind of predicament, the only thing you can do is turn to a better movie, move on, and hope for the better. So as much as a up and down roller coaster as things have been this year, the only thing I can do is try and finish things off on a better note. Next couple of episodes might not be as grand or epic as I hope, but at the end of the day, I think what really matters more is the movie, what I think, and, well, what kind of memories you have to it. That's something I think I lost along the way pretty well. But before we jump into next year, because I promise, that one will be much better than this. Next couple of episodes will be short, sweet, but all around, there'll be some good picks here and there. But I can certainly promise you one thing. No matter what happens, this fox is going nowhere. I got a better idea. I take you heard every word, huh? Yeah. I know it's a little too late to apologize the way I reacted earlier, but all I can say is this. Given you know now what's going to happen from here on out, let's just say I hope this is the start of a better conclusion to this year. Hopefully the start to a much better and brighter season. I promise.
I often say life throws nothing but curveballs. No matter what you do to prepare for life, it's going to throw a curveball. You're going to constantly be switching from this to that. And if you let it, it can make you bitter. It can make you angry. It can make you hostile. Bruce Wayne doesn't allow that to happen. Life throws him this huge curveball as a child, and he takes it and he turns it into something good. And that's why audiences love him so much. People relate to him because everyone has had dark nights of the soul. We all do. People with the most charmed lives have had dark periods. So everyone relates to the darkness that Bruce Wayne goes through. And what they admire about him is his ability to overcome it and to turn it into something good. And I think that makes him the most incredible character for me to play and for audiences to enjoy.